Good morning, students. Today we are entering into real events that took place in Russia. You know, Russia was being ruled by a monarch named Nicholas, the dynasty named Tsar. By 1917, Russian Communist Party was divided into two groups. They are Bolsheviks and Mensheviks. Real meaning of the word Menshevik means majority, and Bolsheviks means minority. So in the beginning of 1917, Mensheviks under leadership of Kerensky was having the majority support of the political party, Communist Party of Russia. But Lenin, who was there in Switzerland in the beginning of 1917, came to Russia after the king has abdicated his throne. In the month of February 1917, the workers came into the streets, demanded for food. Food shortage was so heavy. So the areas where the king is living and the areas of Duma, means the headquarters of the parliament building, were surrounded by the workers demanding food items. Naturally, the government began to suppress the movement. But military advisors requested the king to abdicate the throne, means give up his throne. His kingship, his position. So he abdicated in the month of March. So that culmination of abdication, we call it a February Revolution of 1917. After this abdication, Kerensky was the leader of the government, a government temporarily formed after king has abdicated his throne. So, a government under leadership of Kerensky, who was supported by majority party of named Communist Socialist Party of Russia. But Lenin came inside in the month of April, and he propagated the idea that mainly 3 points he demanded. They are known as the April thesis of Lenin. Main 3 points he demanded was the land to be given to the peasants, nationalization of the banks and stop the war. These were three important demands put forward by Lenin. First World War is going on. So stop the war. All the financial institutions that means banks should be nationalized. Means the profit that is earned by the bank will be shared equally by all the members of the country. It is the asset of the government. No property should be there with the individual. Take the land from the landlords or rich fellows, give it to the peasants, means peasants are the landless workers. Give it to them, let them cultivate. Some of the members of his own party were not ready, but aggressively he propagated. Naturally, in any society, majority members will be the lower sections of the people. So they were very happy to hear that idea and they supported it. So naturally, the idea of Communist Party of Russia was really formed. The Bolsheviks ideology was thrown out, and Communist Party of Russia was formed by Lenin. In July, this Communist Party under leadership of Lenin protested against the Kerensky government and tried to occupy governmental offices, but they were suppressed. But in the countryside, the villagers, what they were doing, they were very happy. The peasants were very happy, and they began to attack the properties of the rich, take over the land, and they began to do whatever they like. So complete anarchy and confusion was existing in Russia. Nobody had proper control on any of the activities that were taking place in Russia. So the Bolshevik party conducted a meeting of the workers, the army even, and the peasants. And they decided to conduct a revolution, organize, means snatch the power from the government. The date of that action was not released. It was known only to the prominent leaders. And Leon Trotsky was asked to lead the military group, the military commander, military leader he was. Trotsky was a military leader. And the unit was called the Red Army. So, with these thinkings, on 24th October 1917, they started the revolutionary activities. This means remove the government, capture the power, take over the administration everywhere. Winter Palace was attacked. King was executed or killed secretly. And a congress of all the Soviets means groups of members or panchayats were called together, and they decided to declare a Soviet government in Russia. So it has taken place in the month of October 1970. So what did they decide? Now after that, Kerensky was removed, Lenin took over the administration. They decided no private property. If this pen is mine, no, it is not mine, it is of the government. Private property was abolished. Banks were nationalized. Land became a social property. It is a property of the society. No individual has got any right on any piece of land. No titles. Titles means Subeda or landowner, landlord. He is related to some titles they will give. So, sir, like that. No titles. If a big house was there, that house was divided and given to the different families. And they decided to sign a treaty with Germany in the month of March 1980. Many of the members in Russian society were not ready to sign the treaty with with Germany at that time. But Lenin made the people feel to sign, and a peace treaty was signed between Germany and Russia in the month of March 1980. But don't think the things were very easy. The people inside the Russian society were not happy with the things happening. There were some people who opposed. So naturally, that led into civil war. I hope you know what is civil war. Civil war is a war fought between two groups of people in the same country. That is known as civil war. So there were people who were not ready to accept the ideology of Lenin and his team, or Bolshevik party, or the Communist Party of Russia. And there were who opposed to him were known as Greens and Whites. WHI, the people who supported Tsar and the dynasty, the existing rules and regulations or existing style of function. So there were fightings between these two groups. It was normal. But ultimately, the Bolshevik party could defeat all other groups. Even external forces like the French army, American army, Japanese army, and British army supported the Greens. But the Bolsheviks were able to defeat all of them under leadership of Trotsky and capture the power of Russia. So in 1922, Russia was declared as Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. That is USSR. Once more I will tell you. Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. Now, it has come into existence. There were protests, but naturally it will be there. In any society, anywhere, protest is part of it. But Communist Party under leadership of Lenin became the prominent and strong organization and started to do or implement the policies they thought. As I told you already, now banks are nationalized. Then they have started a 5-year plans. Means within 5 years, what is the aim? What they must produce in within that 5-year period? How much they must produce? What are the plans of the progress they should have? So like that 5-year plans they began to make and asked the people to work for that and cultivate the land in common and share the products equally according to the necessity. As I told you yesterday, the wordings of the communist ideology is from each according to his ability or her ability, to each according to her or his needs. That is the ideology of communism. Naturally, people in the beginning felt very happy and they began to enthusiastically work for the ideology. But there are some people who are lazy. So if you work more hard, if you don't work at all, you will get the same share in the evening. So majority people have the tendency not to do the work, and that has affected the Russian society. All the prices of every material was fixed by the government, not by the market situations. Prices of the materials are fixed by the market situations. Means economically, if you speak, demand and supply. But here it is not demand and supply. Government fixed the price. It cannot go up, it cannot come down. For everything. So the farmers in the villages who were not ready to be part of this one have produced themselves. They were known as kulaks. And they were not ready to sell the products at the price fixed by the government. So what the government will do? It will use its force. Because government force, it claims to be as authorized force. And that's a permanent setup of force. It has got the strength to do. So it has forced the people to pay or give the materials at a cheaper rate as per the demands of the government. So what happened? Production drastically came down. Everything price was fixed. But the government did one advantage thing, one good thing is education setup. Russian government set up educational facilities for anybody to go to school and study beyond the working hours of the factory, evenings or mornings. So whenever the people are ready to come to school, the schools were opened for them. That kind of advantageous activities were done by the Russian. In 1924, Lenin died. And there was a struggle for power between Trotsky and Joseph Stalin. And Joseph Stalin became successful. Trotsky was exiled to Siberian desert and he died there. And Stalin became more powerful and more established his activities. And collective farms were introduced. But still famine occurred in Russia in the year 1930 to 33. Around 4 million people died in Russia between 1930 to 1933 due to famine. So famine, Famine, famine was so great in Russia. Later period also, Russia had to import food grains. This is having vast land area, but it had to import food grains. Russia has become a superpower in the world. Russia is a country first, that is USSR is a country first, it could send a person to space named Yuri Gagarin. And other nuclear technological developments first took place in USSR. USSR was a country which was leading in the socialist ideology to the world. In 1920, USSR had formed an international organization of socialist ideologies or political parties named Comintern. And it had its meeting all over the world and led the world in the socialist ideology. After the World War, Second World War, world was divided into two groups. One group supported Russian ideology, one group supported American ideology, socialism and capitalism. Germany was divided into 4 divisions after the First World War. As you will study in Hitler more study. After Second World War, Germany was divided into 4 divisions after the Second World War. 1 division was given to USSR, 1 division was given to USA, 1 division to France, and 1 division to Britain. France, USSR and Britain made their division together, and that was called West Germany. The piece or the share that was given to USSR was called East Germany, and there was a wall between these two countries. It is known as Berlin Wall. This Berlin Wall was broken in 1989 when Helmut Kohl was a Chancellor of West Germany and Unification of Germany has taken place. Slowly, in 1991, USSR also disintegrated. 15 new countries were formed. Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Tajikistan, like that, so many. 15 countries were formed after the breakup of USSR in 1991. Now there is no USSR, now there is only Russia and other 15 countries. From 1917 to 1991. So that is the period of USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. Okay, thank you.